What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we got a really small project for you, but it's one that adds a lot of character. So right here behind these windows is what is going to appear to be an enclosed porch. The way this builder is doing this, it's really cool. I like the idea. This is a new build, new construction obviously, but this porch right here is gonna look like it was an exterior porch at some point that was enclosed. And part of that look, part of the theme of that is adding beadboard to the ceiling up in there, because historically there would have been beadboard running on the exterior of the porch, and a lot of times what you'd see is people close these in and make them part of the interior of the house. So really cool idea, adds charm. You know, a lot of new builds, they're missing charm, and this builder's doing a lot to add that, and I really like the way he's doing it. So let's go inside and get started on this install. All right, so coming around this corner, you can see the windows right there. I was just standing right there. And then we turn our corner and we have our ceiling here. So this is gonna look really cool. Basically just a large rectangle. We're gonna run our boards long ways, and we actually already have them cut to size right here. We did this a couple days ago actually, and left the boards in here to acclimate. And now we're ready to get started on our install. So let's go ahead and get this thing done. And speaking of charm, look at the way they did these openings. That is just beautiful. And it really doesn't look like it's hard to do. Just little things, little details make all the difference. All right guys, so here's two offcuts from the material that we're gonna be using today on that ceiling. And this is a Windsor 1 beadboard. So very similar to tongue and groove. It has a tongue and groove there, but it also has a beaded pattern where the tongue and groove meet, and a bead pattern in the middle of the board. So really nice look, and once again, I can't say enough about Windsor 1. All these cuts are deep, they're precise. This stuff is milled so good that these things almost kind of lock together. You can see when I put them together, I can just hold that thing up and it's a snug fit. And the cool thing about them, every single board is the exact same, so I don't have to dig through a pile of lumber and try to find good boards that I can use. So that's what we're using, and the next thing we need to do is figure out the math on that ceiling. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure how wide this room is. I'm going to take two measurements, one on each side of the room, and figure out how many boards I could fit across the ceiling. After that, I'll find all my joists and mark them using my stud sensor, and that way whenever we get these marked on both sides of the room, we can just simply connect both marks with a chalk line, and that'll clearly show us where our joists are running, and we'll know exactly where we need to be nailing into. So we'll just take our chalk line, connect the two lines, and snap it across, and you can see these are 16 on center, and it's just a clear view of what's going on. For our first board here, we're gonna use a full board. We did not have to rip it down because based on our math, we're gonna have a full first board on the other end of the room with the proper clearance. We will have a piece of trim running around the perimeter of this room. It'll be a small crown like a 1x2 or another molding. And if you remember in the first couple pictures I showed you at the beginning of this video, all those ceilings also had a perimeter trim, whether it was a crown or a piece of lattice or something. So we'll have something similar to that. So from there, we just start installing. We'll do a face nail on our first board and also a blind nail on every other board after that. And if you don't know what a blind nail is, I highly recommend you go back and watch the video where we did this tongue and groove ceiling. It's the same house and it was a recent video, but in that video I explain exactly what a blind nail is and how it's hidden by the tongue and groove system and how you shoot it through the tongue. But got a clear tutorial on that in that video, and I won't go over it again in this one. But after that, it's pretty basic. You just keep installing them, and this right here is just kind of basic, like entry-level carpentry. You just put one board on top of the other, essentially, and just work your way from one side of the room to the other. You will occasionally come to an obstacle that you'll have to notch out for, and there's a couple ways to handle those. You see me here measuring the dimensions for this sprinkler head. And there's something I got to do differently than what you've seen in recent videos, and we'll go over it right now. This is our notch right here for our sprinkler, and we just found this circle. This one we have to cut out old-fashioned. We can't do it with the router because that sprinkler head up in there, there's not enough room to get our flush trim bit in there. And honestly, those things are kind of sensitive, and I definitely don't want to set one of those off. That'd be horrible. So we're just gonna cut this out. Basically, we just find the center point of our circle on our board, and then I square up all my lines around it. You can see where I've been marking. I just take my little square that up, and then we just use our little compass here and then trace the circle out. That's the same width as our circle, or diameter, I guess I should say. And the reason I got two boards right here put together, because a lot of times when you have a notch that spans two boards, it's super easy to put those boards together already and then make the notch. But this one actually barely cleared, so we don't even need that second board. I make these circles exact, and then I go on the outside of my line when I cut it, because I don't want it to be an exact fit. I want it to be a little loose, but you know, still tight. So any flanges or overhangs from like can lights, vents, or sprinklers, they'll cover up the you know, the line that I cut out. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off, and then this is gonna be a little tricky because this is gonna be very delicate. We're gonna have to be really careful with that. It would be nice if I had a hole saw exactly that big, but I don't. This is a 2 1/4 inch hole, and the biggest hole saw, or the closest one I got, is 2 1/8. So we're just gonna have to be delicate with this one. Now before I install this, I gotta route out my can lights and I'll be good. How you looking right there? Yeah. Okay. I think once I tap in, I'll be really good. Don't want to break it. Oh, there we go. Good? Yeah, it's really good. Cool. Yeah. You're flush over there?
Yeah. Does it need to go either way?
What's that?
Does it need to go either way?
You could probably come this way like a 16th if possible. Here, you hold it like that. Okay, yeah, right there. That's it. Is that gonna work for you? Okay. All right, here we go. We got two can lights that we gotta notch out for. You can see I already hit this edge with my router. We went ahead and put these next two boards in. I can't really get my router bit in there, but what I can do, I can just take a spade bit like this and then make a hole for my router bit. Then I can go ahead and just route out that notch. You can see that bit's a little bit bigger than my flush trim bit, so I can get it up in there. And you can clearly see here how clean those notches are. It's just awesome using that flush trim bit and just marking off when you need to, like for that sprinkler. But after that, it's pretty much back to the basics. We just start stacking them back up and getting our way to the other side of the room. So coming to these last couple of boards here, we're just gonna wrap it up, and you see those windows go to the ceiling. Those will get another piece of trim and a jamb extension. So yeah, that is a clean beadboard ceiling right there. All right, so there you have it, guys. Super small project. I know that one was pretty basic, but as you can see, just adding a small board like this beadboard to a ceiling just makes a world of difference. And really, that's kind of what I want to get across in this video. It's those little things. You know, they say God is in the details, and it really is true, because if you don't detail the house, you essentially have a box with windows. You got to add some detail, and I think that's why I love millwork and trim carpentry so much, because it makes or breaks the house, in my opinion. I'm really like anti-modern. I don't like modern looks. I like traditional looks, and how much more traditional can you get than a beadboard like this? So let me know if you guys have any questions. I think this is going to be super cool. I think it's going to accomplish what the builder's going for here, making this look like an enclosed porch of days past. But we're going to wrap it up here, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.